Welcome this morning to Imagine Your Life with Jenny Lynn McKinnon. I am your host, Jenny Lynn, and this morning we're going to be talking about the superpower of forgiveness because forgiveness is a superpower. You want to create miracles in your life? Forgiveness is the key. I want to begin with a quote by a man named Gordon B. Hinckley, President Gordon B. Hinckley. He was the president and prophet of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in probably about 1980s through the 80s, some of the 90s. I consider him to be my prophet because I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And he was the prophet when I was a teenager and in my early parenting years. And I gleaned so much wisdom from him. So this is his quote, and I'm quoting a scripture that was, or not a scripture, but a talk that he gave back in 1989. This is the quote. Somehow, forgiveness with love and tolerance accomplishes miracles that can happen in no other way. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is our superpower. Forgiveness is how we take back control of our own lives, is through forgiveness. By choosing to not forgive is like drinking poison and thinking the other person is going to die. That doesn't help anybody, especially you, because many times it doesn't even affect that other person and they're not even aware. Now, there are little things to be forgiven, and then there are big things. Can you forgive? Can you forgive somebody who killed your child? Can you forgive somebody that raped you, that hurt you? Can you forgive an alcoholic father that you watched abuse and bloody your mother? How does forgiveness work? How does it really work? What does it really mean to forgive? These are all questions and things that we're going to be exploring today. And where we're going to end today is with real life application for forgiveness, a way, a tool combined with the Ho'oponopono that we talked about in last week's episode. That's a very powerful way of bringing in the power of forgiveness in a very simple, easy format. I have watched and witnessed, and even myself, my life has been changed through the power of forgiveness and the Ho'oponopono prayer. It is a very simple way of giving that burden, lifting it off of your shoulders and letting it go, truly letting it go. So it can remove the layers and remove the hurt, bring you to a point of functioning, of happiness, of love, of forgiveness. And the freeing power of forgiveness is amazing. You know, I watched as a hospice nurse, I've had people who should have forgiven like small things and fractions from their childhood, and yet they held on to their story, their narrative, that their father was so evil and bad and it was all his fault, and all the problems in their life were all their father's fault. And then at 70 years old, they died pretty much alone. This woman I'm thinking of, she never married because she was too bitter. She was angry at everyone. And She passed away sad and alone and holding on to her bitterness. And my hope is that she went, that she was able to let go, because some of those hurts we feel justified in holding on to, that somehow if we let go and we forgive is different than trust. Once you've been hurt, once somebody has hurt your child, has hurt you, you're never again going to trust them. We're not talking about trust today. We're talking about forgiveness and boundaries, layers. And you do get to protect yourself. I am not talking about forgiving and stepping back into an old situation. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about bringing in the superpower of forgiveness to help you create peace and calm and alignment in your life, alignment with your light and hope and freedom. This woman, she never chose to forgive her father, and everything in her life was always his fault. And she died lonely and alone on her little farm. She was really, I mean, she was nice. I met her. She was really nice. She was really nice. She was also very lonely in her life. And but nobody but herself could move her forward. So that was the way it was for her. Versus, I want to talk about myself in my own life. Now, everyone has stuff, and nobody gets through this life without having some hurts and some pain, because that's what life is about learning and growing through the pain. The goal in life is not to have problems. The goal in life is to have new problems and continuing to be overcoming and growing and progressing. That is the goal. But I want to talk briefly about my own experience with forgiveness. One of my earliest memories that came out through years of therapy, it was a sexual abuse situation, which as a child, does not sexual touching from an adult. As a child, for me, it started very early as an infant. You don't recognize it as trauma. You don't recognize it as abuse. Your body recognizes it as pleasure, because they've tapped into and awakened those sexual feelings at a very young age, and you've been stimulated, and those feelings are real, and they're there for a purpose. Well, that abuse, that I'm not going to go into it too much, but it continued in patterns until I was about 15 years old, and I really could remove myself from the situation. And my primary abuser left the house. He was gone. And where did that leave me? Well, I had developed very specific coping mechanisms of multiple personality disorder, now referred to as DID, or identity disorder, dissociative identity disorder. See that right there? I just had a brain fog moment. Identity, a dissociative identity disorder, where you separate and you disassociate that part of your identity. So it used to be called multiple personality disorder. I had developed some of this, which means that I would do something, I would tell a lie, a simple little lie, like, yes, it's like, no, I did not eat the cookie. I did not eat the last cookie, when my brother watched me eat the last cookie. So of course I'm lying. But in my mind, I wasn't. That was that other person. And it's interesting that in that identity disorder, I separated myself, and I would do things and I would not have any knowledge of them, because it's like there's a stage in your mind, and whatever personality, whatever character is on the stage at the time, they are handling the conflict and they resolve it. And that personality is called forward and resolves the problem or causes the problem. And then the scene changes, and that personality goes back behind the curtain, and a new personality comes out to deal with a new scene and a new event, feeling, whatever's happening. And this new personality, these two personalities, the one behind the curtain and the one on stage, they do not communicate. And the personality that is behind the curtain, they're not watching the show, they're not learning. And so you create this dissociation within yourself. So what do people see on the outside? Well, people see someone that's blatantly lying and is convinced that they are right, that they're true. Like that person, I mean, look in a court of law, Henry Madsen said, I didn't kill those women. That wasn't me. Well, it was absolutely him. And they even, I mean, they had his DNA, they had witnesses, they had so much, and yet he still refused in a court of law. Why is that? Because he's dissociated from those emotions. So that's another topic for another day. But in my life, I just want you to understand what I went through, and my coping mechanism for my benefit was I became very much a perfectionist, and not necessarily healthy, but I did learn a lot. And it was healthier than the coping mechanism of drugs and alcohol that my brother chose. And he's been on his own journey and he's doing very well now. But at the time, he had a really rough road. And I just put everything I had into my sports and my education and my friends. That's what I did. So that meant that I was a very, very busy, busy, busy person. So busy that I never had time to stop and think and feel, because that was painful. So that's how I survived my childhood. And then turned 20 years old. I meet my husband. He's amazing. And I get married. But even when I married my husband, he would ask me about my childhood, and I had no memory. I can tell him anything about my husband. I mean, about my family. I could tell him about my family. He'd met my family. But specific events, feelings, things, I was like this black curtain was over my memory. And it wasn't until I went to nursing school and I was working at the mental hospital up in Wyoming that I started to see and recognize patterns within myself that I recognized in my patients. And I went, oh, I have a problem. And that's when the lid exploded off my brain and it boiled over and people got hurt. And it was a very difficult time. I was very suicidal as I came to a realization of what really had transpired in my life. And there were some court cases, and it was just a mess. And I love my family. If my family ever is watching this episode, we have been through hell and back together. And I love you and I forgive you. And that is why this episode is so important on forgiveness. This is my own personal story of forgiveness. because I spent the second 20 years of my life recovering from the first 20 years. And I'm so grateful for it. My goodness, I was set up perfectly to learn the lessons that I needed to learn to be able to do what I need to do to share my message with you today. That message of forgiveness, that it's real, that we were all doing our very best with what we had and the skills that we had. And that includes my parents and perpetrators. We were all doing our best to cope. And God is real, and forgiveness is real, and miracles transpire. So, how did I get through all of that garbage and lead my sister through all of this garbage? She was 4 years younger than me. We experienced many of the same things. It was through being introduced to EFT, who was one of my older sisters, because they were working on their own journey of forgiveness. Families are messy. Things happen. There is no perfect family. Get that out of your brain. There is no perfect parent. There is no perfect family. We are here on this earth to learn and to grow, and the lesson is repeated until the lesson is learned. And don't you think it's time that you learned the lesson so you can move on? Well, using this today is a powerful way to move on. So in what I did, I was introduced to EFT. I became certified. I used this 1,000 times a day. I would just be tapping. If you watch the episode on Ho'oponopono, episode before that, on specifically on EFT, it is a powerful modality of putting you in the driver's seat of your own life and your emotions. And when you combine EFT with the words, the Ho'oponopono words, it was that book that 25 years ago changed my life. It was a brand new concept. I read that book. I studied that book. I went to classes. I learned everything that I could. And then I experienced the miracles myself through prayer, meditation, trial and error, and forgiveness of myself, and self-compassion, and forgiveness of others. And the person I've never received an apology. And it doesn't matter, because we're all on our own journey. We're all learning. Choosing to not forgive the hurts in your life is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Take ownership of your life. So here's how I did it. Hours and therapy. And by therapy, I tried traditional therapy, and there's value there. But the application of it in my life was through the EFT, was through energy work, through working with energy therapists, energy workers. Think of Reiki, think of even hypnosis and hypnotherapy. That was a big deal in my life, which is why I'm a hypnotherapist now and use those tools and teach for others. I turned to my friends. And I had to develop friends. Maybe you don't have friends. Maybe you've cut yourself off in such a box that you don't have friends. I remember early on, I had a counselor, and she was an energy worker. She was like a life coach that 25 years ago said to me, Jenny Lynn, in your mind, where is your safe place? What does that look like? And you know what? The vision, she asked that question, and as I pondered, the vision that came in my head was me in a white padded room with no doors, no windows. I was safe in my little padded room, emotionally. Well, it's lonely in there. You're by yourself. There's no connection. There was no doors, no windows. So in my mind, I opened the door and I created windows. And how did I do that? Through forgiveness, through this EFT, through unlocking those hardcore emotions within me, those hurts and that anger. And it has to go somewhere. So get it out, tap it out. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me, my ancestors, and all those connected to me for the reasons that I have this problem because of. I'm so sorry for my fault. I'm sorry for my part. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And when I officially went through EFT training, and if you're studying EFT online and videos, you will learn that there's a pattern. Start the head, there's a pattern. And what we're doing is we're tapping on acupuncture sites. Well, that's all fine and good. And that's how I originally learned it, was to use this pattern, and you tap the pattern through your body for each issue. Begin with the negative. You have to acknowledge the negative because what you resist persists. If you're feeling lonely, like you're alone, you're in that room, that padded room with no door, no windows. You're alone, but you're safe and you're alone in your cave, in your cell, in your padded room, wherever that is. But it's lonely, terribly lonely. This is how you open the doors. Please forgive me. Forgive me for my part, whatever that is. I forgive you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for the learning. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you. Now, I've done EFT for years now. Probably, I said 25, but I'm a little bit older now. So I bet I started when I was in my 20s. Is when I was first introduced. So probably 30 years. And as I've taught EFT, I learned it as a very formal modality. And then when I went through my hypnotherapy classes, I learned it as a waking hypnotic technique. And what I learned through my hypnosis, and now that I practice EFT every day and I teach it and I use it, it doesn't matter where you're tapping. You can tap on your steering wheel. You can tap on your desk. You can tap on your knee. You can tap on your ankle. In fact, it's very effective if you have an area of pain. Tap on that pain, and you start with the pain, saying, oh my, even though I have this pain, this hurt, and maybe you don't even know the emotional reasons why you have the pain, doesn't matter. Just start tapping on the pain. My wrist, even though I have this problem, I still love and accept myself. And even this problem, this pain that is at a 10, I still love and accept myself. And even this pain, I can give it to my higher power. There is a power greater than me that I can give it to. For me, it is my Savior, Jesus Christ. For you, it may be creation. For you, it may be light and the sun. Whatever you connect with, we have a power greater than ourselves, a creator. It's been said there are no atheists in a foxhole. And I believe it. And I know it. That we do have a creator. And if that's all that you can hold on to is, I give this to the universe, to that entity that created the universe, then give it to the universe. Give it to the light. Give it to your power, your higher power. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you. And you tap that down, and then you check in. And as you create peace, as you create calm, as you change your state, then change your state of mind, creating peace, calm, forgiveness. It's not a one and done kind of deal. Forgiveness comes in layers. And I'll remind you that trust is different than forgiveness. To forgive someone doesn't mean you put yourself back in that situation of abuse. It does mean that you gather yourself up, that you empower yourself, that you recognize that you are of value, that you are of worth, that the action and what they did was wrong, but that you are good and strong. You know, people who have lived with shame others. In relationships, if a individual in this coupleship lived with shame and disciplines their children with shame, controls with shame, they will shame you as a partner. And you can stay caught in that shame, or you can recognize it what it is, because the difference between shame and guilt, they're both emotions. Guilt is, I did something bad, which we all make mistakes. We've all done something bad. I did something bad and I'm sorry for it. That is guilt. Shame is, I am bad. And if you've been with or living with a partner that makes you feel shame for just being alive, that you are intrinsically bad, that's not truth. Because the truth is that you are enough. The truth is that you are loved, that you are worthy of love, and you have always been worthy of love. And maybe you made a mistake, but it's a mistake. You learn and you grow and you move forward. You are not shame. Shame is of the devil. Shame is darkness. Shame was introduced in the very beginning of creation with Adam and Eve. In the biblical story, you can read Genesis. That's when shame was introduced. Shame is a tool for the dark side to try to keep you captured in thinking that you're unworthy and that you can never be happy and you can never forgive. It's not possible. Well, they're wrong, because you can forgive and you can move forward and you can be happy and you deserve to be happy. In my life, as I work through forgiveness, big issues of forgiveness that I could have, and you know others, and I'm sure that you know others, and you can see other people that hold on to those hurts so much so that it drives them. It creates illness, it creates sickness, they're unhappy, and then everyone around them is miserable, and then they have no friends, because who wants to be a friend to that? It's not a happy place to be. And how do we become our own best therapist and work through that? No therapist can do this for you. You have to do the work yourself. And the best way to do your work for yourself is to start with the layers. You start with, even though I have this feeling, even though I feel shame, even though I am shame, even though I don't love and accept myself, because nobody else can love and accept me. So why would I accept myself? We acknowledge what is. We acknowledge the negative, because what we resist persists. We acknowledge where we're at emotionally. Even though I'm feeling so lonely, even though I'm alone, and I don't even love and accept myself. I want to love and accept myself. Even this problem, I can give away to my higher power. Just by saying that, you open the door to that cell. You open the window and let some light in. And then we build on that light to, even though I believed all of this in the past, I still love and accept myself. And I want to love and accept myself. I want to believe that it's possible that I can love and accept myself. Because even this problem, I don't have to have this problem. This problem was placed upon me. Even this problem, I don't have to have this problem. Please forgive me, my ancestors, and all those connected to me for all the reasons that I have this problem. It's in your DNA. Clear it for you and your ancestors. Please forgive me, my ancestors, and all those connected to me for all the reasons that I have this problem because of, and I give it away. Give it to my higher power. I give it to my Savior. I give it to the light. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you. Do you feel that difference? Do that every day, several times a day. Anytime you think about it, just start tapping until it becomes so automatic and such a part of you that it will be your go-to. And when you need help, reach out. You can reach out to me personally if you'd like, and I will mentor you and coach you. My email is imagineyourlife88@gmail.com. If you sent me an email, I will connect with you and we're going to work through this together. I also have a website, imagineyourlife.biz, B-I-Z. So connect with me if you have questions. You can also find so much learning now with on the internet and with videos, and it's all there. Just please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you. Harness your superpower. Create the miracle. A miracle is something you don't understand. My life has been filled with miracles, joy, and rejuvenation. Why? Because I created it that way. That's how it is every day for me. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you. That you can process and work through other people's emotions because we're all connected and life is messy. Life is messy. I acknowledge your pain. I acknowledge your hurt. I also acknowledge the greatness that is within you. And as you're watching this video, listening to my voice, you are powerful. You are an overcomer and you're looking for hope. And here it is. This is how you harness the superpower of forgiveness in your life to create miracles, to create what you do want, because it is true. There is no person, place, circumstance, event, thought, feeling, idea, image, or sensation from the past, the present, or ever to arrive in the future that can stop you from being happy and successful. That is the truth. Embrace it. Know that you are loved, that you are enough, and there is hope. I'm going to end this show the way I end every show with every night as you go to sleep, repeat in your mind the phrase, every day in every way, I get better and better. Repeated 10 times, one for each finger as your fingers touch the mattress or the pillow and you prepare for sleep. So nice. Now, what happens when you do that? Say you have a bad day and you go to bed and the brain thinks about that bad day. The last thoughts that you think about as you fall asleep is what your brain processes and thinks about all night long. And now you've fed that elephant brain with more of, I'm unworthy and let's have a really bad day today. And you compound that over time and that equals a crappy life. Now reverse it. Very same bad day and you go to sleep and you just think in your mind, every day in every way, I get better and better. Repeated 10 times, one for each finger as your fingers touch your pillow and you prepare for sleep. Now you've given your brain a problem to solve, which is what brains love to do, is solve problems. And now your brain is working for you instead of against you, and it's figuring out while you sleep, how can I be better tomorrow than today? And the next day you wake up and you're 0.001% better than you were when you fell asleep. And compound that over time, and it equals many good days, many good weeks, months, years, an amazing life. And 20 years from now, you're going to wake up and go, oh, how did I get here? Well, this is how, within being intention and creating and becoming the creator of your own life. You are the creator of your own life. You get to decide what you choose. And today you choose the superpower of forgiveness. Thank you for joining me today. My heart goes out to you, and I appreciate you on your journey. Again, if you want to reach out to me, my email, imagine your life 88 at Gmail. 88 is because I love the infinity sign, and I graduated in 1988. So imagine your life 88 at Gmail. Have a beautiful day, and every day in every way, you get better and better.